So welcome to the pilot episode of a little idea I had here called Trail Talk. Basically, we're just getting out here on the trails and we're doing something almost vlog-like. I've got my TRX4 out here with me and yeah, we'll enjoy the trails and we'll have a little chat. All right, so in today's video, I actually wanted to share an idea that I had with you guys. And I've kind of had this idea for a while, but now I feel like it's a good time to try and pick the brains of the collective RC universe. What about competition trail truck style running? So the idea with that would be pretty simple, honestly. How I see it, you could pick a trail. Like for instance, this one is a straight trail, so it has a beginning and an end. It's not a loop, but you could pick that trail and you could have maybe make it like a head-to-head kind of thing where one person starts on one side and one person starts on the other, and you have like a par time to complete the trail. So par time would be, I don't know, just a good average time, and you get points for every minute under you are, let's say, and you would lose points for every minute over you are. Other ways to gain points could be like various obstacles on the trail. And if you had to skip them, maybe you would lose points, or maybe you can only gain points that way, and the person with the highest points wins. So not only would they have to get a good time, but they would have to do the obstacles. I feel like the type of builds that you could do or would have would also change pretty radically. You'd want your crawler or your trail truck to be good enough to get through technical items on the trail, but at the same time you'd want it to be kind of fast because you're trying to set a time, right? So it can't be too terribly slow. And the more I think about it, the more I think that you would have to have required obstacles, because the time to get those obstacles done, like, you wouldn't want it to be where it makes more sense just to skip them and run through as fast as possible. These trails could also offer kind of like a variety of obstacles. You know, it's not necessarily a rock feature anymore. It could be like a mud pit, or it could be all sorts of different types of things on the trail that would require sort of like a different vibe. It would also make kind of a lot of sense for the driver to be a little bit physically fit in order to really take a win in this. Like at first, I think that this would be probably more something for, you know, friends and people to do for fun, almost on like an honor system. But at a high level, you really could have people at certain points on the trail making sure certain things get done, or like deer cameras or something to check. And like for sections like this, obviously, you know, you can do it where they're able to pick up the truck with no penalty, right? So I'm picking up mine and we're gonna head across the bridge. But here it still kind of matters like how fast the actual racer is. You know, like you're gonna want to boogie through here. What do you guys think would be like a cool sort of thing to add to this? I really do feel like it could be a thing because it sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. It gives people an excuse for new and different builds, which is always fun. And there could be so many elements that don't really exist in all RC competition now, you know, like endurance, for instance. Like maybe you don't want that small battery. Maybe you need a big battery. Maybe there's a battery limit. How many can you have with you? I don't know. There's a lot to think about here, and it's something that I do kind of want to iron out. Also, another thing, you could compete with yourself. Things like 2-speed transmissions and stuff too. That would just be like, it would be so helpful in situations like that, depending on the trail. Also, trails change in so many different ways too over time. That would be like a fun competition, like wild card type of thing. And then there's the question, like, what would we call it? So I think it sounds like a pretty cool idea. Obviously there's a lot to work out, but it definitely sounds kind of like a fun way to compete in RC in just a whole different way. It's an endurance thing. It's a physical thing. There's physical fitness at play. I don't know. It sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. And like I was saying earlier, I don't really know what to call it. What would we call it? Trail cross? Hey, I'm going to the trail comp. I'm a trail comper. Trail comping. Who knows? Could be a lot of different ideas for it. Trail comping. Just think about it, okay? I'm pitching it to you guys. You go to a trail. You map that sucker, okay? Certain areas and certain obstacles are worth points. You either gain or lose points on those obstacles. You have to complete the trail in a par style time. So there's a time to meet. If you're over that time, you lose points. If you're under that time, you gain points. And at the end of it all, whoever has the most points wins. You could do this by yourself. You could do this with a friend, starting each at one end of the trail. You start at each end, and then you would go and pass each other at some point. And once you reached their end of the trail, then yeah, it's over. You've finished. And whoever at the end has basically the fastest time and the most obstacles cleared, basically has the most points. You could have like bonus obstacles. There's on the trails that around me, there's all sorts of like little loops along this trail. You know, you could add bonus points for that. I guess you would track it and like track your obstacles by filming it. You know, everybody's got a cell phone in their pocket these days, so it wouldn't be too hard to film yourself completing a certain area. And yeah, the kind of build that you would have would change so much. It might even change from trail to trail, which would be super cool. You know, if you have a super rocky, nasty trail, you might really want to lean into more of a rock crawler style build. If you have a trail like the one I'm on, honestly, like a 2-speed would really, really help, because there's a lot of sections here where you can go fast, and there's some sections here where you really might want to slow down. It's kind of an endurance thing, you know. These kind of competitions could be miles long. The way I'm thinking about doing it, it would be a 2-mile trek. And I don't know, you could have a limit on things too. Like there could be a limit on batteries. You could have a spec class of sorts where, you know, it's got to be a stock TRX4 or something like that. I don't know that that would really level the playing field too much, but maybe a little bit. This would open the door for different kinds of ways of enjoying like the rock buggies and like the rock racers and things like that. Maybe that would be useful on some trails and maybe even ideal. Now your speed of your truck really is limited to also the speed of you, the driver, right? So you would have to think about that too. You'd have to think about your own physical fitness. Honestly, in order to compete at a high level, you would need to be able to hike through quickly, maybe like do some trail running even, depending on the trail. I know that people have done something somewhat similar to this. I know at Axial Fest, they have like a 5K where you run your truck while you run the trail. But I'm thinking something a little bit more endurance-y and a little bit more sanctioned, you know, not like a side event, but like the main event. And yeah, what do you guys think about that? Does that sound like something that you would find fun? Because for me, part of like what I enjoy most about like this trail truck thing and why the trail trucks really appeal to me is because it gets me out in nature and I am physically moving. You know, like I am sweating, I'm out of breath, I'm having fun, and I have my RC with me. It's just a cool thing. So imagine if I tried to do that as fast as I could, or if I had points. I don't know. It's something I'm going to try. I got to find somebody that wants to compete against me though. I might have to recruit like a family member or somebody. I'm not exactly sure yet. Anyway, you guys, I've had enough rest and I think I'm going to get back to it now. But I did want to stop and sort of recap sort of what my idea here is on this. I love this spot up here though. There's so much like green and beautiful. There's a little creek here, you know, it makes for great little creek crossings. Really fun little rock crawling videos for the small stuff can go on here. Eventually, this is going to fall all the way down. Hopefully not on me. Speaking of obstacles, I don't know. Well, little hill here is pretty gnarly. It has changed as well, so I'm not sure the right way up today. Okay. Let's try that again. Because even that's a pretty hefty guy right there now. To get the time right? Just testing it out. Is this trail comping already a thing? It seems like it's too cool sounding of an idea not to already be a thing. So anyway, yeah, this was the first concept pilot idea of, I don't know what I'm gonna call this, maybe like trail talk or something. Let me know what you think, both about the video and the trail comping idea. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.